Have you ever just wanted to walk away from all of your problems? Like, vanish off the face of the earth, fake your own death, or move to a different country and start a completely new life? Of course you have. It's called Every Monday Morning. But one guy named William Buckley actually did it. Not on purpose, mind you. He wasn't planning some grand disappearing act. He just legged it, got incredibly lost, and somehow managed to go from convict to what people genuinely thought was a ghost. And no, I don't mean Casper with a criminal record. I mean, gone 1 minute and pops up again years later. Let's rewind to 1803. Buckley's 6'6" brick wall of a man. Think Mr. Incredible, but if he'd been raised on gruel and bad decisions. He gets shipped off to Australia for nicking a bolt of cloth. Hardly the crime of the century, but hey, colonial justice was basically send them all and let the outback sort it out. So off he goes with a group of convicts to establish a new British settlement near modern-day Melbourne. It's all going fine. If your definition of fine includes dysentery, starvation, and the constant threat of being eaten by whatever nightmare creatures Australia's got lurking in the bushes. Now, at some point, Buckley decides, probably looked around at the hostile environment, the hopeless situation, and the daily chance of being whipped for sneezing wrong, and thought, I'd rather take my chances with the wilderness. So, along with a couple of other escapees, he legs it into the absolute middle of nowhere, and by nowhere, I mean the Australian bush, which, let's be honest, it's basically nature on hardest difficulty. Almost immediately, the others die or turn back. Buckley, he just keeps walking and walking for weeks. No food, no clue where he's going, just vibes and bad decisions. Sounds like my last attempt at going walking in the Peak District with my kids, except instead of whinging kids, it's venomous snakes and crippling dehydration. At some point, he stumbles across an abandoned spear, just lying there, and he picks it up, probably thinking, if I'm going to get eaten by something, I might as well poke it first. What he doesn't realise is that spear isn't just a stick with a point, it's a symbol, sacred to the Wava Wurrung people, an Aboriginal group in the area. Now, this is where things get interesting. See, the Wava Wurrung had recently lost a warrior, a tall one, and when they saw Buckley, filthy, half dead, but holding the spear, they thought he was that man, come back from the dead. I mean, let's be fair, if a 6'6" bloke who looked like he'd wrestled a crocodile and lost showed up in my village holding one of our sacred weapons, I'd probably assume something supernatural was going on too. So they welcomed him, gave him food, a name, even a family, and Buckley, to his credit, fully embraced his new life. I mean, what choice did he have? It's not like there was a McDonald's around the corner. He lived with them for 32 years. Yeah, 32. This guy was living in the Australian bush pretending to be a reincarnated warrior, while also technically still a fugitive from the British Empire. And this wasn't just some survival situation. He learned the language, understood the customs, became part of the tribe. He even went out on hunting trips and took part in ceremonies. He didn't just live with them, he became one of them. But here's the weird bit. While he was out playing ghost of tall bloke past, the British start hearing rumours, whispers from passing travellers about a white spirit who lives with the Aboriginal people, a phantom, a wild man. That's William Buckley, just vibing in the forest like some bushland Bigfoot. Then, in 1835, he hears there's a new British settlement not far off, so he walks in calm as anything. After 32 years of ghosting, he just casually strolls up and says, "Alright lads, imagine that scene. Some colonial officers standing around trying to look important, and in walks a wild-looking, sun-leathered man speaking fluent Aboriginal dialect. They didn't even recognise him as a convict at first. They were too busy trying to work out if he was real. When they finally did clock who he was, they were like, wait, that William Buckley, the one who escaped and died?" They gave him a pardon, probably because they had absolutely no idea what else to do with him. And he lived out the rest of his life in relatively quiet obscurity. Tried being an interpreter between settlers and Aboriginal people, but honestly, he found that tougher than surviving in the bush. Turns out, 32 years of peace and culture shock doesn't prepare you for dealing with angry colonial officials. Eventually, he moved to Tasmania, and that's where he died. Properly this time. No more disappearing acts. But here's what sticks with me. This was a man who was completely written off by society, exiled, hunted, and presumed dead. And he managed to build a whole new life, one with meaning, with connection. Makes you wonder, if you vanished into the woods tomorrow, do you think you'll be able to make a new life for yourself and beat William Buckley's 32-year record? Or would you eventually miss your phone charger and call it quits? Anyway, that was the story of William Buckley, the convict who became a ghost and somehow survived longer than anyone would expect. Let me know in the comments, if you were in his position, would you have walked back into town? Or would you have stayed a ghost forever? Or would you have never traded the prison life for the wilderness outback in the first place? Cheers for watching. Don't forget to like and sub if you haven't already. Unless you plan on legging it into the wilderness for the next 30 years, in which case, fair play. I'll see you in the next one.